Hello, it's Jason at Model Kit Stuff. The summer has finally arrived. It's got plus 30 degrees in the back garden this Wednesday lunchtime, and you know what? It's feeling good as I'm about to go on a holiday week and the weather's going to be really nice. So I've had a great year. I've got my first run of beans starting to show. I've had the best year ever with my tomatoes. Fabulous. We've already had some of those. And my shallots have done really well as well, so it's all going really well. Anyway, coming up in this week's Table Talk, we've got a whole new paint system being launched, and I'll be talking you through what's going to go on with that. Talking about the videos that we did last week and what's coming up over the next couple of weeks, and what happened on Tuesday night, totally out of the blue, and you're going to love it. So, how is everybody doing? It's really great to see you. Whether you've been a long-term subscriber, some of you have followed this full journey for nearly 5 years now. You probably should be making medals or something by now for that sort of thing. And some of you, you know, you might have joined just last week and this is your first Table Talk. Doesn't matter who you are, you're massively welcome here, and we've got so much to go through. I say this every week. You know, there's loads going on, but this week has been absolutely bonkers. I mean, and I'm only halfway through the week and I'm already, you know, thinking I need to lie down and a break. So, yeah, a mad bonkers week. Gonna take you all through that. All sorts of stuff going on. Stuff that I knew was gonna go on. Stuff that I didn't know was gonna go on. Yeah, so plenty to talk about. What we're going to do though is we're going to talk a little bit first off about what went on at the. But as always, let's start with what happened last week. So we kicked off on Sunday with Other Stuff Part 3, which, depending on whether you're a member or just a subscriber, oh, that doesn't sound good. So depending on whether you're a subscriber or a member, that Sunday video would have been different for you. So for the members, they got the next model kit stuff, model other stuff video. Still struggling to get my head around that. Yeah, so they got the next one. Some people have been asking, will you share your wheels, your new car, which was one of the things that made things busy last week. So I thought I'd just do it in a little bit of a fun way, put a spin on it and say, you know, this is why you should buy this car if you're a modeler. You know, certainly there are other cars out there that as a modeler you can probably drive and will be fit for purpose. So it was just tongue-in-cheek, as I'd said in a previous episode. There's a lot of people out there taking it very seriously, and I just thought, you know, it'd be nice if someone did it a little bit more light-hearted. I mean, I did a rubbish job of it, I don't mind admitting, but then, you know, that's not my bag, doing car videos. So anyway, if you were a member, you saw that, and most members seem to have watched it, so that just shows you've done it. And then if you are a subscriber, you'll have seen what had up until Sunday being a members only video, which was taking you through how I edit videos, and that's had something like 300 views. Yeah, fascinating. And then you know, that leads on to some questions. What's the editing suite you use, and so on and so forth. So just to be clear, for most of the nearly 5 years that we've done this channel, I used iMovie, which comes pre-installed and completely free If you've got an iPad or an iMac, I think you get it on your iPhone as well. And from there you can do all the basic editing plus some slightly more advanced stuff free of charge, and it's the world's most popular video editing software because so many people have got Apple phones and Apple iPads, you know. So it's a bit like, you know, most people use Excel as a spreadsheet. Well, that's because almost every company in the world is using Windows. So, you know, it's just one of those things. So I used that because it was free. I about 18 months ago, I think, and we talked about it on here, so someone else might know better than me maybe. I upgraded to, it might only be a year maybe. I upgraded to the Final Cut Pro, which is the supposedly professional version of iMovie. It's certainly got a lot more capability, and I'm only scratching the surface of what it can do, and I'm finding new things all the time that it can do quite by accident. So, you know, I've not read the manual. I've watched a few YouTube videos on it. I'm using it at a very basic level, but it gives me some functionality I didn't have before, which has just been able to come through on the videos with a little bit more of a professional tweak. So yeah, that's what I'm using. Anyway, that was Sunday. When I put the next other stuff video out, which might be some point next week, don't know, then the members only car video will become public, general consumption. Okay, so that was Sunday, or was it Monday? No, I did it Sunday, didn't I? And then on Wednesday we had the first impressions of this bad boy, feature length, hour and a half, you know, and I'd challenge you to find a Hollywood movie that was quite as enjoyable as an hour and a half of Grecian, in to be honest. You know, you don't need to tell me what you think might be a better hour and a half. I really enjoyed reviewing this kit, and you know, I'm really looking forward to building it. So interestingly, I recorded this on Sunday morning before I got into modelling, and I'd done a little bit on the Friday evening, finished it on the Sunday morning, so it was done over 2 days, and then it went back over there just behind my little swing door of my shelves where I've got the next kits I'm going to build. So in there I've got this, I've got the Space 1999 Eagle, I've got the General Lee, all sat there waiting to go. So that's what happened to this. What I like about this is it's something a little bit different from the Royal Navy. I mean, there are wooden kits you can get out there that are not Royal Navy, but Vanguard focus very much on that sort of stuff. You know, it's very much sort of Nelson's Navy type approach, which I love, but it's nice to have a break up from, you know, from doing things that are different but the same, if that makes sense. You know, red gun carriages and black and ochre ship's hulls and so on. So the four builds that we're doing as beginners are deliberately very different for that reason. We are doing only 2 sort of British Navy ships, one at the very start, which was to grab your attention, and one at the very end, which is a bit more complexity. And in there we will, everything we've learnt from the previous 3 builds will come together on that one, and then, you know, you can sail off into the sunset on your adder and go and run down some other ships and add them to your fleet at will from that point on. So you already know what we're doing with the Lady Eleanor. We're adding some aftermarket. We're looking at how we go beyond what's supplied in the kit in terms of looking at finish and maybe weathering and that sort of stuff as well, and we get to do sales and things. When we come to build the Grecian, the main difference is the copper plating. The rest of the build is fairly straightforward. You've got quite simplified rigging and not a difficult hull. The hull is gorgeous in terms of shape and silhouette, but fairly easy to plank. So yeah, but she looks very different. She's got a different shape, she's got different colouring, and it's the first vessel we'll do with 2 masts. But the main thing is tackling the copper plates, which will be done with tape. So that's just because there's 1 or 2 things around that we want to talk about, which often aren't covered, and I think a lot of people do head scratching about what's right and what's wrong with copper plating without them really realizing that there isn't really a right and wrong. There are people that talk about methods, and there is generally accepted several methods, and you know, they're not necessarily right or wrong. They're just emulating different ways that were done in real life. So yeah, there's different ways of tackling it, and I will show you a beginner's way, and I'll talk about 1 or 2 others ways in there, and how to handle it, especially if, like me, you've got slightly acidic hands. I turn copper brown fairly instantly, and you don't want all those brown fingerprints all over your copper tiles. So we'll be talking about all of that sort of stuff. So definitely stuff we'll learn, and on here we'll do some things around a little bit of cannon enhancement with a bit of partly rigged cannons to add impact but not add the untidiness of the full rigging, and we'll look at some additional rope work that can taking what we've learned in the second build, adding it to that, so we can add a busyness and a sense of purpose to the ship for those people that want to do that. And then that'll all come together in the adder build, and then finally, when we've moved on from that and I start doing some other builds, you'll see me do it quite differently, because when I think about the other ships that I've got to build, so Speedy, which I will do quite differently to how you see it on the kit, because I'm going to try and do it fairly accurately from a historical point of view. Then we're going to do, and this isn't necessarily in the order they're going to do, got Harpy, and obviously we've got Surprise, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So we've got all these coming along. Surprise is likely to be, well, definitely going to be the one that gets built first. That's going to be an important build for this channel, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So that was Wednesdays. That was the Grecian, and what a beautiful kit it was. And the thumbnail, I did a little bit of AI searching to come up with a phrase for the thumbnail. I wanted to use a period 1800s phrase for something that is really visually stunning and looks good and what have you. And apparently that thumbnail that said as pretty as a picture, that was a very common phrase in 1812. So there you go. Right, so Friday, all things being equal, you should have Junkers Part 8. Haven't edited it, haven't looked at it. I'm running out of time because my week's been so busy, but we need to do that during tonight, Thursday night, as well as editing this video for Saturday. But the Junkers is all recorded, so it's just stitch it together, bang it out, and you've seen how quickly I can do that if everything goes well. But it's just finding that time. You know, I need half an hour free to be able to get the Junkers done and do a thumbnail and start that loading up process. So it's all doable, but it's just another thing on the to-do list. And as always, most of this year I've been hand to mouth with videos, which never used to be the case. Even though we're putting slightly less videos out. But even though we've got slightly less videos out, my subscriber numbers have increased again and my membership numbers have increased again. So that's really good news. Right, so and then that gets you back to table talk. And that's what happened last week in terms of videos and so on and so forth. But blimey, it was a busy old week behind the scenes. So last week was a short week for me in terms of working. I did a 4-day week because I took a day's holiday on the Thursday. And Thursday was the start of chaos. So I went down to my dad's. The plan was get to my dad's. My dad would give me a lift to the garage. I would have the car handed over to me. By this stage I already own it. I got the V5 form through the post 2 days before that. So even though they hadn't taken the deposit, officially the car was mine, and the finance had been agreed and so on. So that was the plan. Then I was going to go back to dad's, give him his birthday presents, swap some stuff out of the my car into my new car, head back up, make tea, take Paula back to my dad's, pick up the car, pick up Alice on the way, and then we'd all drive back. That was the plan. So on the actual day, it absolutely bounced down on the motorway. It was stair rods is the saying in my family. It was absolutely sheeting down, bouncing off the motorway, and as a result something happened, I don't know quite what, and my sat-nav took me off the motorway to drive through the centre of Warrington. And anyone who knows Warrington knows that one of the last things you want to do is go through it in a car. Walk, cycle, helicopter's ideal, but not in a car. I mean, you know, the road system no longer copes with the volume of traffic. It was designed for horse and cart, and now it's trying to deal with 21st century car traffic, and it just can't cope. So everything's bumper to bumper, shuffling along. You know, 3 cars get through the lights at the time, that sort of stuff. And as a result, you get a lot of frustrated drivers who really are very, very, very silly individuals who are cutting up, undertaking, you're deliberately driving in the wrong lane to pull in front of you because, yay, I've saved 2 seconds and I've moved 1 car in front, you know, aren't I a hero? And that, I just sit there. I don't know whether these people realise that everyone else just thinks they're pillocks and stupid and idiotic, because that is what people think of them. So you've got all that going on, and you know, I can't be doing with it. So when I drive through Warrington, it's either very, very early in the morning, or I circumnavigate it and go around it on the motorway system and come in on the other side. So fortunately, my house in Warrington, where my daughter lives with my youngest daughter with her mother, that's on the far side of Warrington from me, South Warrington. So I can do that. I can go past, get off the M6, get on the 56, and take the junction for Daresbury, and I'm there. So yeah, I was taken through Warrington because it's absolutely sheeting down, and then it put me back on the motorway south of Warrington. And by the time I got to my dad's in Macclesfield, well, he lives in a village just outside Macclesfield actually, I was around about 50 minutes late. So yeah, it was not ideal. So we're sort of in a bit of a rush. Dad had got his car out ready. I jumped in his car, and he dropped me off at the garage. we did the handover, which was a bit rushed. Not by me. I had questions and stuff, but the whole experience was a bit rushed. And I've been buying cars from there for 20 years. I'd never come across this sales guy before, and he was a little bit rushed. There was products that I would have possibly bought into that he never talked to me about. So, not ideal. But they've had that feedback. So pick the car up, and he leaves the car, handed over, my phone's connected, we're all good to go. I need to go and get petrol, so that's out into 3 lanes of traffic, get into the middle lane in about 200 yards. Then we're on a roundabout, over the roundabout, turn into Tesco's, get petrol. So it's a horrendous corner to come out of. You can only turn left as well, and it's down a steep hill, so everyone bombs down the hill and then comes to a screeching stop at the roundabout. So that was I've done that corner many times, but it's been, I haven't done it for a couple of years, and when you're in a new car and you're not familiar and what have you, it's a challenge. So we did that, and as I moved off, and we're on a cobbled road, as I move off towards the end of the road where I've got to get into this fast moving 3 lanes of traffic, the heavens opened and literally all the moisture in the whole of the sky globally fell on my car. But I had the wipers on full belt and I couldn't see anything, so I just sat on this junction going, right, okay, I can't see a single thing. It was slightly better looking side on than forward on, but in that I managed to manoeuvre myself out, got to the garage, fill up with petrol, and then made my way to the dad's, and it was absolutely sheeting down all the way. So we did presents, and then we'd run out of time, so I didn't have time to transfer anything over. Grabbed my iPod, couldn't work out how to make it connect. So I drove all the way back to Leyland without any music on in the car, because I hadn't had time to have a look at the car and work out what does what and how you switch this and that on, because they're quite technologically complex now, cars, and even though it's a Toyota, the mechanical stuff is familiar because I've had so many, but the media and the CarPlay stuff is all very different. So I got to mine, just about made tea, we wolfed it down, and Paula was here waiting for me because there'd been a water cut. There was no water in the office, so she was working from home. Then we legged it down the motorway, we picked Alice up, all that went well. Got to my dad's, of course, got to have a chat with Dad. Then I transferred some stuff over from the car. Then I reminded Paula how to put on her cruise control for the motorway element of coming back about half the journey. And we went off, and by this time it's sort of 8:30. I'm thinking we'll be back home about 9:30. It's about an hour and 10, but traffic should be fairly light. No, roadworks on the motorway, so they'd taken 3 lanes of traffic on the M6, squeezed them into one, and it was just bedlam. It was an extra hour of delays just to get past a stretch of coned off motorway with no one in it, which is, felt a bit annoying. And then, I don't know, a mile up the road, they're putting cones out again, but I was able to get past that before they'd started closing that off. So yeah, that was Thursday, and that was sort of the start of the chaos. So busy weekend. I do the food shop, so we have to think about the tea list, then they do the shopping list, then actually do the shop. Then we were sort of Paula and I are going away, so what do we need to take? Let's get the stuff out of the attic. I was trying to spend time with the car and get my head around the car, which actually didn't take too long, but it's got things on the app, so from here I can, on the app, I can set the temperature I want the car to be, and then get it to either cool down or heat up, which will be great in the winter. I can de-ice the car. It takes about 20 minutes, but I can de-ice the car, and then I can get in, and the inside cabin's up to temperature, and it's de-iced, and we can drive rather than me scraping it and all that sort of stuff. We'll see how good it is come the time. So I was messing around trying to understand all that, and there's little things like I can program the sat nav, but how do you stop the woman from talking? And this is very strange as well. There's one voice that gives you the directions, female voice, but when it comes to the part where she reads out the name of the street, it changes to another person's voice, another female's voice, the one that used to be on the sat nav, built-in sat nav in my Corolla. She reads out the names, and then so I've got a duo sat in behind my sat nav, which is I mean, it didn't bother me, but it seemed to be messing with Paula's head a bit. Then Monday comes, and my old car, the Corolla, which is now Paula's car, which I transferred the V5 and what have you. So Paula had got it insured as of midnight on Sunday night. I had my insurance going off as of midnight on the Monday night. So I cancelled my insurance, £55 to return. I cancelled, I'd informed the DVLA of a transfer of ownership, which cancels your tax. So there was some tax money to come back, but both of those parties were paid from my old bank account, which is now closed. So they won't be able to get that money back. My bet is the DVLA will go, oh, I don't know what to do, and I'll never see it again. I'll have to chase it, and probably, you know, is it worth 6 months of constantly ringing them to get 15 quid back or something? And the 55 quid from the insurance company, I'm hoping they'll contact me and say we've not been able to pay you or something like that. They've got my contact details, but if they haven't by the time I'm back from my holidays, they'll be getting a phone call. So there was that going on. So the MOT's due on the Corolla, so Monday night had to sort that. So the car was being MOT'd on the Tuesday. Monday night, Paula, who was driving the Corolla, took it straight to the garage. I met her at the garage, gave her a lift back home. Then on the Tuesday, while the car's being MOT'd, I had to give her a lift to and from work, because there's this strange thing which I didn't know, but you can't have a no claims bonus attached to two cars. So to transfer a no claims bonus to the Corolla, she had to uninsure the Yaris, which is now or will be at Christmas my daughter's car. So that happens. But on Friday, the MOT is due on the Yaris. So she's got to drive the car on Friday, and she'd forgotten this. So she's then put temporary insurance on the Yaris for Thursday and Friday. So on Thursday, got to go back and do this all again. She's going to drive to work in the Yaris, then go straight to the garage. I'm going to go and pick her up, bring her back, and then on the next day, she'll drive her Corolla to work, come back here, I'll give her a lift to the garage, she can pick the car up. That's that done. Then Saturday, we're now moving into what's coming up. On Saturday, I'm going to Manchester, going to look at the Titanic exhibition, so I will do a little bit of filming around that for the members. So Titanic exhibition in Manchester, Paula and I are going for that. That's something Paula's bought because she thought I'd be interested. So we're going to drive into Chorley, get on the train, get to Manchester Piccadilly, spot a lunch. We've got a time slot to go into the event, spend the afternoon there. Hope that the trains are still running to get back, because you just don't know these days. And then that's Saturday done. Then Sunday we're packing, and Monday we're off. So that means that Daisy's got a boyfriend coming around, so she's staying here with the boyfriend's babysitting. So also this weekend I've got to do some shopping for her to make sure that she's got food and what have you. So just crazy what's going on at the minute. I'm looking forward to a holiday. I can just sit there and go, peel me a grape, you know. So what is coming up next week is not much at all. I'm going to be away, so I'm just going to be chilling out. I won't be doing any modelling. I will be doing some video editing. I wake up relatively early in the morning. Paula, she's one of those people that can roll over and go back to sleep, and I just can't do that. So I'm expecting that I'll have some time to myself in the mornings. So I might go for my exercise walk. And we'll be doing a lot of walking over the holidays, but it's a different type of walk, if you get me. Just wandering around, taking in the scenery, the shops or whatever. It's quite different exercise. So I'll do that, and then I'll perhaps do some video editing. I want to edit the surprise build series. I've got that to do. And I've got something else that I need to do, we're going to talk about in a sec, in terms of video editing. So I won't be doing any model building, and I'm just going to be having a chill out, and I need it. I'm ready for a break from work, definitely. From this, not so much, but from work, definitely. And then the following week, I'm off but home, so we'll be getting a load of modelling done and some video editing done and some half-day trips with the kids and what have you, because it's then the end of the summer holidays. Where has that gone? Blimey, we're in September then, and you know what happens then. So yeah, 2 very different weeks. It's looking like next week's going to be warm as well, so that will be interesting to see how that works out. I think we need to make sure we take a fan with us. Fortunately, loads of space in the new car, tons of it. So no problem there. So next week there won't be a table talk, and next week there probably won't be any videos going out because I'm just not going to have guaranteed time to edit them. Anyway, there was one other thing that happened last week. So if you, like me, enjoy building wooden model ships, you've probably been following the journey that I've been on with Vanguard Models, from when I first bought the Speedy kit to where I am now with 7 kits in my possession and several first impressions, and on the second build, and it's all sort of been slowly gathering momentum, and it's been really enjoyable because the kits are just stunning, and they really speak to me. But if, like me, you build wooden model ships, you probably are on some forums as well, and I would say that the biggest and certainly the best forum in my mind is Model Ship World. So I've been on Model Ship World for a long time, and years and years ago I started posting pictures of my build of the San Francisco 2 Artesina Latina, which was a very interesting build because it's single planked in hardwood. But it was a fun build, and it's got sails on and so on and so forth, and I learned a lot from that, like why you shouldn't do single planked hulls, for example. But yeah, so I've been on there for years on and off. I don't post very much because firstly, there's a very structured way of doing things and presenting things, and I can never remember. And the number of times I've put a post in and they've gone and corrected it, and I don't want to irritate people, but being one of those people that always gets it wrong, because I can never remember, and because I don't post frequently enough, I can never remember, and I don't post very often because I can never remember. So because there's a structure they want you to follow, which makes it easy for people to search. I understand why, and I love structure myself, so I totally get it. I just not in that headspace, and certainly in the last 5 years doing this, I just don't have time to do this, and posting forums. And I've openly said before, I pulled out of a lot of Facebook stuff. I left loads of forums that I used to follow, Brit Modeler and Partwork and Diag and various others. I pulled out of all of that, pulled my stumps up and walked off from most of those because I didn't have time, and I got really fed up with the idiots, particularly Facebook. But I didn't leave Model Ship World. I stayed on there, and I look around from time to time, and I have spells when I don't go on, and then I have spells where, you know, I'm on quite frequently. Oh, I'm in a spell where I'm on quite frequently. Why? Because the admin of Model Ship World, many of you will know his name if you're on Model Ship World, James H. He builds the prototypes for Vanguard models. And he's built, not all of them, but most of them. Some of the earlier ones were done by Chris, I understand. And then he builds them, photographs them, and that becomes the instruction manual. And James and Chris work very closely together on getting that kit ready for commercial release. So I'm commenting, he started posting some of the first images of the prototype coming together for surprise. And if you remember, you'll have seen me share the link to that in the social group. So anyway, James sent me a private message and said, look, I don't think we're far from each other. Would you like to have a sneaky peek, I think was the words. Well, you ain't gonna say no to that, are you? I mean, never in a month of Sundays are you gonna say no to a sneaky peek. So I said yes. I said, yeah, okay. Now, he's about to go on holiday next week. You know, I'm going away, so not much time. And I'm saying, yeah, I'll come round. Completely forgot about all these car MOTs and all of this sort of stuff. We agreed I'd go around on Monday. And then I was telling Paul, I said, oh, James reached out to me and, you know, did I want to come round and have a sneaky peek? So I've said yeah. And Paul went, what about you driving me for an MOT? I'm not getting the bus or a taxi. Oh, so James must have thought this guy's not very organised. I must have messaged him 3 or 4 times, say, sorry, I got to change the time. Anyway, cut a long story short, on Tuesday night, in the evening after I'd had my tea, I went round to James's house. And it was really nice. My understanding is no one has ever been in his modelling space other than me. No one's ever been allowed to see the Vanguard prototype stuff coming together before. So a real exclusive. So I went round, took a load of pictures, took some video, had a load of chat. Really interesting fella, really interesting background, dead friendly. A couple of ginger cats that took a shine to me, which is interesting because cats usually run a mile from me, so I was quite surprised. And I think I'm not used to having cats around me, so when they were jumping all over me, I was like a bit like that. But yeah, it was really nice. I got to see the Grecian that was built for the prototype because he's still got that in his house on display. So I got to see what this looks like built up, and it is really impressive. It's really nice. So anyway, went to his space, and you know, this guy runs the most popular model ship forum probably on the internet, and he's building the prototypes for Vanguard models and, you know, other stuff as well. And you imagine when and maybe you imagine this about me, I don't know. You imagine, you know, they're going to have a very professional workshop, going to have a whole garage that's been converted into this, you know, a clean room for painting and this big full workbench and maybe 2 workbenches and fancy storage stuff. He's working out of the box room of his house, and You know, he's just a model builder like I am, like you are. You know, it's just that. He's just in a position where he does this stuff, you know, and clearly a very talented modeler. But he's working out of his box room. And I'm looking at it thinking, how on earth did you build Indefatigable in this space? So we're getting all the stuff out of the box, and we're starting to take some pictures, and I've got my video camera and I've got my phone and I've got some bits and pieces with me, and he's got these lamps that he uses for taking these pictures. So he puts these lamps on, and I reckon when we walked out of that room it was easily 35 degrees. I probably lost 2 pounds, just stood still in there. So you know what, I have a load of sympathy for this guy building these under you know, especially at this time of year. Tremendous. Anyway, I got to see the surprise, and it's stunning. Even, I mean, just the framework is a work of art. I actually said to him, it's a bit of a shame to plank it, really, isn't it? So yeah, it looks really stunning. So I will put a video together. We'll make a video. I want to do a good job of it, so I'm not going to rush it out just for the sakes of it. So this will be an exclusive. No one's ever had a pre-peek at the prototyping stage of Vanguards before. So gonna put that together, do a nice job of it, get that out, start building a bit of momentum for when this comes out, which is probably going to be early New Year. If you think February, March, you're probably not far off. Have agreed with him because he's only 25 minutes away from me. So I'm Leyland, he's sort of near Bolton. It's the Bolton turn-off. So if you think where the Bolton model show is, it's sort of in that area. So 25 minutes to me, and I go up that way quite a bit because my daughter's boyfriend lives that way, and when the trains don't work and I've got to go and rescue her, that's the way I'm going. So we've agreed that when Surprise is further along and painted up, but before there's too much rigging on which plays havoc with my autofocus, we'll go back and do another little update of that prototyping. And I don't know, maybe this time we'll get some talk on camera. This is going to be me doing a voiceover video, so it's all quiet video, and I'm going to do voiceover, talking over it and do an introduction and what have you. Might do it slightly differently next time, and you know, get some experience and stuff. We'll see if he's up for that. So look out for these videos on the Surprise, because no one else is going to have these. These are completely exclusive to Model Kit Stuff, and it'll give you a good insight into how the Surprise is coming together, what it looks like, what's involved in the kit, before I can get my hands on it and do a first impressions. And you know, as soon as we can do that, when the kit's sort of commercially ready, that's what we'll do. We'll do it at first impressions, then we're going to build it. Now, I said last week that I was thinking about linking another level of membership to a particular build. Well, that build is going to be Surprise, so I thought this would be an appropriate place to just talk about that. So I haven't finally decided this, but I'm thinking about doing it. When I come to build Surprise, I'm going to do it very differently to how you're seeing me build wooden ships on the channel right now. Surprise is not going to be a novice build. It's going to be probably a sort of experienced expert sort of level. And I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they know yet. So there's no point in me going through this is the method and so on and so forth. But I know that lots of people are going to buy this kit and are going to sort of want to get involved with the Surprise because of the film, and people are going to buy it inevitably who've never built a wooden model ship before. And that's going to be a big mistake for them, and you know, we'll talk about that nearer the time of release. And by that time we will have 2 builds we can refer them to and say, look, go and put yourself through those, and then you'll be more ready. Anyway, what I'm thinking of doing, and like I say, I've not fully decided, is to link the next membership level to wooden ship builds. So what we'll do for general consumption, for subscribers and members and for everyone, we'll do an update. So every time there's a milestone completed, we'll do an update. So, you know, we've built the frame. This is the frame. This is it. This is how it's gone together. You know, really happy with it. Found this bit tricky, so look out for that. That type of thing. Then I'm going to do a membership just for people who love the wooden model ships, where you'll get to watch me build it. So that will be, when I'm building her, I will do it live stream. So when I'm building, it'll be live on camera and you'll be able to join, you'll be able to chat, watch along, build along, whatever you want to do. But that will be for members only. And that will be for this particular level of members only. I've not decided in my head what that's going to be. But you'll get all the perks that you currently get for the current 2 levels of membership, plus you'll get access to the live stream. Now, for those people who are members but don't want to be bothered with the live stream, I will do a more in-depth sort of how-tos on 1 or 2 things, which we will share with the members first. They'll get first view, and then after a period of time, maybe a month, it'll get released to subscribers. So what we'll get is current membership. You'll get to see it being built in form of sort of an in-depth build update, and then it'll go out to general subscribers after they've had it for about a month or a fortnight or whatever it is. We'll have to see how quickly everyone's watched it and what the uptake is. And then whenever I'm on it and building on it, we'll switch the cameras on, we'll do it live, and that other level of membership can watch that. So you've got choices. That's sort of the thought. So it means that we're appealing to different people. So if you've built 2 or 3 models and you really want to see how it comes together, you can do that. You can jump on the live stream and see it come together. And it means that I don't have to edit it. So it saves me time. You get to see the build. The build videos go out as live streams, but they'll only be available for those members. So it means I don't have to do lots of editing and pulling things together and that sort of stuff. It also means it'll be a little bit more rough and ready. You might have people coming in and out of the kitchen while I'm building and all of that sort of stuff. So and it might be that a live stream sometimes is an hour or 2 hours, and sometimes it's 20 minutes. Don't know. And that's what I'm thinking about. So we will have to see. I still need to give it some thought. It's one of the things I'm going to ponder when I'm walking the cliffs of Wales next week. Right then, before we talk about this exciting stuff here, new paint system, I thought you might be interested in the latest update on the Elvis Stalwart from Airfix. So I got my 3D printed roof this week, and it is proper lovely. Bit difficult for you to see on camera, but what you've got is the roof as a separate item and the 2 mesh grills as separate items as well. So no longer will you have a grill on your roof that looks something like a 19th century ship's grill, made out of wood, big chunky, too 2x2s. So yeah, so that. But I've also had a message from Airfix customer service regarding my Elvis Stalwart. So this comes out of the blue. I got it today, so Wednesday, and if you remember, they sent me replacement sprues, some of which were okay, some of which were not so good, and I then did a follow-on video reappraising it, and I said, well, it's an improvement, but it's still far from okay. And I meant far from okay basically on the design of the kit, which is chunky, crude, and it's very early 80s vibe really, and not really what you'd expect even from Airfix. I mean, in fact, especially from Airfix recently, it was really a bit of a shocker. Anyway, I've had a message saying just a quick update regarding the replacement of the above kit. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they have replaced it. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for new kits to be sent to us, and it could still take some time to arrive. I think this has been a bit of a disaster for Airfix. Please let me know if you're happy to wait or if you would prefer a refund. So I thought the case was closed. Don't know what I'm going to say to that. It's the same person that contacted me before, but it could be an automatic message. So I'll have to message them. But if you have complained and said you want a replacement kit, it may be that you've got that. Look in your emails and have a look and see if you've got that email, because you might have an option there to get your money back if you don't want to wait, which would be a shame, because essentially it's a really interesting subject. I will be building it next year now with the aftermarket. I just want to see if there's anything else comes out aftermarket wise in terms of stowage or something like that to make it, because I want to do it with the back open and the top half open and what have you. Anyway, right, let's talk about this. Right, so many of you will not have heard of this before. This is Kaleido. It's a completely new paint system just launched this week. And it's come from Gaahleri, the makers of those airbrushes that we've been talking about for the last 18 months. Really, really nice. They relaunched their website this week and launched a new super quiet double tanked air compressor and this paint system, and I have most, not all of it. So I'm going to do some videos on this. We're going to do some videos talking about the actual products and deep dive the products and what you get. And then we're going to be using them on the builds that are coming along in September, such as the General Lee, the Eagle, the Lady Eleanor. So we've got stuff in here. Now, another paint system, like we need that, like a hole in the head. Well, maybe. These are acrylics, but they have, so the manufacturer claims, and yet to be tested by me at least, they have the properties of lacquer paints. So in terms of scratch resistance, self-leveling, smoothness, they do. Supposedly the pigment is very, very fine, and so it's been designed specifically to be able to airbrush and not cause pooling around detail. They sound like they've fallen from heaven. Ta-da, here's the best paint system you've ever had. But the proof, of course, is in the testing. But I thought here I'd just give you a quick show of what's available. Now, I have most but not all of these, so you can buy them as paint sets, and I think as individual paints as well. So we've got here 12 metal colours. Now these appear to match the metal colours of the I don't know if you can see them, I don't think you can, of the metal marker pens they released last year. So that's really nice. The colour names seem to match. So scorched gold, stainless steel, zirconium black, champagne gold, they were all in there. So I think these match. It's one of the things we will look at. So that's one of the colour systems. Then there's a 24 colour auto set. Now I requested one colour out of this, which would be good for my General Lee engine, but they sent me the whole box to review. So yeah, I mean, there's such a wide variety of colours in here. If you build cars, twilight purple, metallic purple red, liquid blue, rally spirit blue, metallic racing red, magma orange and flame orange I'm interested in because they look very, very similar to Jaime orange. And then you've got greys, you've got thinner and cleaner in here, and you know, almond green, diamond white, Italian racing red, so Ferrari red, without them being able to say it because probably it's licensed. And then 24 primary colours, which go from white to blue grey with pinks, and there's a colour called cream yellow. It looks like yellow ochre, and then you've got a whole range of colours, blues and purples and greens and what have you. I wouldn't say there was a lot of colours here that dove too deeply into military subjects, and when I do the videos that's probably going to be one of the feedbacks. But again, this set comes with airbrush cleaner and thinner. So yeah, now it has something called rapid air technology, and that seems to be what is making this behave like a lacquer. It's designed to go straight from the dropper bottle into the airbrush without thinning. So that'll be interesting as well. Let me just find a knife. Just want to show. I've not even looked yet. As you can see, I'm cutting the tape. Just want to show you what the bottles look like. So there we go. It's got a little bit of foam in. That's nice. You get a leaflet with all the colours on. That's nice. And then you get the bottles, which are 20 mils. So I mean, Vallejo's 17, I think. Humbrol's 14 in a tinlet and 12, I think, in a dropper bottle. So that's a decent size bottle. The lid's quite funky, but it's got a good grip on it. Nice dropper bottle. Can see that the dropper's not been pushed down properly, so that means I can get that out. No aroma. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Bottles, not soft plastic, but not hard like the cheap hard Gen 2 Humbrol bottles, which I'm not keen on. And then you get in there acrylic medium thinner for the airbrush. Looks a bit gloopy, that's interesting. And then some cleaner. So I've got those to review. We'll be having a look at those in the near future. And then they've sent me a load of support products. So I've got primers as well. So again, they've sent me more than I requested. I said send me the grey and the white and the gloss black for the metals. So they sent me gloss black primer, white, grey, and also their matte black. So we've got all the primers. Just rip the box, but it doesn't matter. So we've got all the primers, and you know, 210 mils of primer. So that's all good. Never a big fan of these bottles, but these type of caps, it's like a squirty bottle. Can you hear that? It's got an agitation ball in it. Fabulous. Typical Gaahleri, they do think of everything, but they do talk to modelers and try and understand what it is the modeler needs. They've also sent me varnish. No mixer ball in that. I suspect you shouldn't be shaking the gloss. We will read all about it before we do our review. So they sent me gloss varnish, big bottle, 210, 60 mils of matte, 2 lots of 60 mils of semi-gloss, 210 mils of brush and airbrush cleaner, airbrush thinner, and also airbrush retarder thinner. Now it's just too hot to be messing around with it, and I'm about to go away, so I'll be reviewing this as soon as it cools down a little bit, and having a look at them, and get that video out as soon as I can. And as soon as I've got a view of these, I'm going to share that with the members, and then the video will come out. What I'm interested to see is, have we got yeah, there's an agitation ball in with the paints as well. So yeah, very, very interesting. So these are now available on the Gaahleri website. I have a link below to the website. Please use that. Gaahleri can see that you've come from Model Kit Stuff if you do that, and that's the best way of making sure that you get the most current offers on the website. And then below that there is a link which can get you 10% off any discounts that you've already picked up on the website. So you put that in at the checkout and get 10% off everything you've got. Okay, so I'll be reviewing these soon, and telling you all about them. I've got 3 out of the 4 paint sets. The other one is for people that build those big Japanese sci-fi figures, whatever they are. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not coming out. But those are the ones that I wanted to do. Basic colours, metals. But like I say, nothing specifically military, but you've probably got enough colours there to start mixing. But certainly if you're into car building, I'm really interested to see what that's going to perform like, because to get the best finish on a model car, you're generally using enamel or lacquer. So can that possibly be as good? Really? I don't know. So anyway, there you go. Really, really exciting stuff coming out. They've got something else on the way to me, some form of airbrush organizer. I don't know what it is, not seeing it on the website. And as soon as I've got that, I'll be doing a video on that as well. So there you go. So much going on. I won't be around next week, so it'll be 2 weeks before Table Talk again, but there might be some Model Kit extra stuff videos coming out whilst I'm away on my holiday. And if you like steam trains, you need to look out for those, because I'm sure there'll be a steam train on one of them. So until I next see you, you enjoy your modelling, stay cool, stay hydrated. Don't stop your modelling just because the temperature's gone up. Yes, it messes with your glue times. Yes, it messes with your paint times. But it doesn't mess with sanding things. It doesn't mess with research. It doesn't mess with tidying up your desk and getting organised and having your annual clean of your shelves and chucking old gone off paints out. There's always things you can be doing around your hobby, even when the temperature's ridiculous. So until I next see you, have fun. Bye for now.